Hi, welcome to the 2023 post-game press conference of the final game of the Hattiesburg Super Regional. For Southern Miss, we have head coach Scott Berry, the two captains, third baseman Danny Lynch, and pitcher Justin Storm. Coach, first, if you'll just kind of open up with an opening statement.
I will. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Tennessee on gaining birth to the College World Series. I know they work hard just like we do, and certainly they came out and played very well today, so most deserving of that to move ahead, and we wish them the best in Omaha with that. Second of all, I want to thank you, the media, for your attendance here, making this Super Regional a super event. I also want to thank you for all the years that I've had the pleasure of dealing with you, and I mean not in a bad way dealing. I'm just in the relationship that we've had. That I haven't ever really had any issues with any of you, and I appreciate that. There's always been a balance between the wins and the losses, and that's a gift to be able to report on that. I want to thank our administration, our university, and everybody that's involved in our program and making it what it is. And certainly these two captains that we have right here that have been with us for a number of years and have led the way for us. So,
all right, we'll open up for questions.
Coach, two questions. The first question for you, the second one for both of the players. First question for you, during your career, what sets this team apart from any of the other ones that you've coached, and especially with these two players? Players, what does Coach Berry's legacy mean to you guys?
Well, I think the main thing is that to be able, particularly with these two guys and their other teammates that were guys that returned from last year, it's always hard to get right back where we are, and I think that's what's so special about Southern Miss and the tradition that we have. We pride ourselves on tradition because tradition is consistency. We've been to 7 straight regionals now. That's pretty consistent. We've been to 2 super regionals that we've hosted. We're starting to lay the groundwork on consistency there. And it's tough to come back. The guys that return next year, it's going to be on them to carry it forward to keep that consistency. So what sets this team apart from the others? The others never had to try to repeat to be back to a super. That's pretty good pressure to do that. You got to come out and you got to play really well. 46 wins against a really good schedule. We'll do that for you, and for that's why we're back here in a super, and that's what's special about this team, and it's what's special about these two captains, because they are the ones that lead from the inside.
What was the second question?
What Coach Berry's legacy was to you guys and your time here at Southern?
I think it's kind of hard to put into words, really, just for me personally, but I think probably the best example of it just now. Congratulations to Tennessee, but when they were dogpiling, it was chance of USM and Coach Berry were surrounding the Pete, and that's just a little glimpse of what Coach Berry's meant to this program and what he's meant to me as a person and players that are here now and that have been here. It's hard to describe, but that's just a little example of kind of you see how much he's meant to us and to everybody that's in the stands tonight.
Yeah, I think a big part of Coach Berry's legacy is just, I played with probably 100 or so guys while I was here, probably more than that. You're going to see so many of them become good fathers, good husbands, good people out in the community, and that's the biggest thing he does here is he builds good men. That's the biggest thing to me about Coach Berry's legacy.
Scott, and if you the players want to chime in, by all means, but when you look back on your career, and obviously you've had a lot of wins, a lot of success, what do you hope to be remembered for when people talk about you?
I think when we have our first meeting in August, I always talk about to these players that, the most important thing is that people will remember who the person you were. They won't remember how many home runs that Matt Wallner hit. They won't remember how many wins Nick Sandlin had, those numbers will fade, but the person you are and the teammates you are, the coach you are, how you care for people and how you try to build people and mold people that are around you, that's what they'll remember the most. And, you know, that's a big part of who I am. You know, as I've gotten older, I understand the big picture. You know, the wins are part of it. The losses come with it. But it's these guys, when they're done, you know, what do they do then? You know, what kind of impact are they going to make in the community? We know what they can do on the field. What are they going to do in the community? And that's part of our program. You know, I really feel that's a big part of our program moving forward. So,
Coach, this was your final game at Pete Taylor Park, and just that goodbye to the crowd, just kind of describe how that was for you, and what would you say to them?
just thank you. I mean, I was very, very humbled over that, not expecting that whatsoever. But I think, to me, that just ensures the relationships that I've been able to build with the people outside of our team. And, you know, we talk a lot about if you want people to invest in you, you have to invest in them. And that's the relationship that I feel like that we have at Southern Miss Baseball. We have a relationship with our fans, you know, and for them to tip their hat to me tonight meant the world to me there, especially after, you know, a tough loss that, you know, I'm sure everybody wanted to pack up and go to Omaha just like we did. But, you know, I think they're very grateful for what we've been able to do here.
And Coach, I want to leave it super open-ended. Is there any message that you have that you just want to tell fans, former alumni, and then Justin and Danny after that? Anything you would want to say to Coach, before he gets out of here?
Just with me, with the fans, I mean, they were a big part of why this season was special. You know, I mean, it started at the very beginning. It's been kind of a domino theory, building out of 2021, out of the Ole Miss Regional. You know, had a lot of success. Started, really seeing the interest level in season ticket sales in 22, and then of course the success that we had last year just really catapulted the enthusiasm and the momentum into this year. And, you know, I think people recognize that Southern Miss baseball is really special. And, you know, they're hoping that these events will happen and that we'll entertain and we'll do the things that we need to do to get to the end of the year and play for something. So, that's special to me with those fans and how they invest in us.
Justin and Danny, you guys had two memorable careers here at Southern Miss. Looking back, and I know it's very raw, but looking back right now, how would you describe to other people outside of the program just what this program is all about and how your careers reflect that?
I mean, I think it's kind of what I talked about earlier. This program just about building good, strong young men and sending them out in the community and hoping they make an impact. And you've seen it with Coach Barry. You saw it with Corky Crawl before him and Hill Nenson before him. They've all built good, strong young men that go out in the community and do great things. I know a lot of my former teammates are already out there doing great things. I think that's the biggest thing, is how much you grow when you come to Southern Miss baseball, how much you grow as a person, more so than as a player.
And we have two final questions.
Danny and Scott, talk about their pitching, the pitching you faced tonight. Their stuff just seemed electric the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I honestly thought that Beam, as far as starters, I really thought he had the best stuff of the three, and the other two were pretty good, but I thought Beam was really good. You know, I think the biggest thing is that, you know, the freebies weren't there, you know, to build some momentum for us. We couldn't string the hits together, and that's credit to them, you know, not being able to let us have any momentum that we had to work, you know, to get on with base hits, and we hit some balls hard, especially, off beam. Burns was a little different creature, that we've seen. I mean, sitting there triple digits and pretty tough there with him, but very elite pitching. And we knew that going in. The numbers indicated that. But the two guys today, I thought, were really good. And, of course, the one guy, Combs, that they brought in for situation deal to get out of it, they just really never gave us any chance for any kind of momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Coach Barry said, the walks weren't there. Beam, he had really good stuff, and he was in the zone. So when you're really good stuff and you're not getting the freebies, it's going to be tough to score. You got to string together there are a bunch of hits, and we weren't able to do that. And then obviously Burns came in, and he has electric stuff, and he gave us a little bit there in the ninth, but we couldn't string it together enough.
Scott, I know you kind of had your ceremony in that Louisiana series. I guess now that it's over, I mean, how much will you remember these 3 kind of extra games that you got here, after the regional and the send-off that you just got?
Well, I will spend the rest of my time remembering and thinking about the good times, the good wins. I'm not going to be thinking about the disappointing ones, in all honesty. I mean, I've been very blessed to be surrounded by very good coaches, very good players, great administration, and those are things that I'll remember as whatever I do, and I'll have a lot of time to do that. I'll put away my silly superstitions that drive me crazy. I won't have to worry about that anymore, I guess. And but yeah, I'm just going to reflect on all the good times, and not just as a head coach, as an assistant coach with my buddy Coach Palmer, and all the great things that we were able to do together. So that's what I'll be doing.
Coach, we thank you. Congratulations to you.
I do want to thank the umpires. That was a really good umpiring crew. I'll be honest with you. There was very, very little attention drawn to them, and so, they're a big part of these events. And I thought that crew did an outstanding job in all 3 games when there was a lot on the line. So good umpiring goes unnoticed, and I didn't really notice them. So,
Coach, Justin, Danny, congratulations on a wonderful year, and we appreciate you guys.
thank y'all.
This concludes this portion of the media conference. The 2023 Hattiesburg Super Regional, the Tennessee Volunteers. We have Coach Tony Vitello, third baseman Zane Denton, and starting pitcher Drew Beam. Coach, if you'll just kind of give an opening statement just to get things started.
Probably 3 things come to mind. The first thing is the guy to the right of me. I mentioned it in the outfield. There's so much you want to say, but everyone is kind of acting a fool, so I just jump in on that. But we were a little short last year from going to the World Series. And the thing that was missing in my mind and was very painful for me the rest of the summer, I can handle a loss. The other coaches can handle a loss. It was an epic year, but it was a weird weekend, and this guy never had the ball in his hand. And this was certainly a strange weekend as well. But seeing him out there throwing and just knowing we met as coaches today, and I told them all when we were done, you want to know why I'm fine with no matter what happens tonight, is we get to see him throw. Then the other thing was, I wish we could have done this in Knoxville in front of our fans because they've meant a lot to us. But it's a challenge to win in the postseason, and we had to go do it on the road. No one wants to hear it, but there's a lot of difficult circumstances this group overcome, and I'm proud of it. And then the third thing is just Coach Barry. So if it's us or whoever wins a national championship, we'll throw a party in Knoxville, or congrats to whoever else it is. But that's the definition of a champion, that guy. You can ask anyone that's played for him, anyone that's been around him, and anyone that's competed against him. So the game's losing a good one. But he left his mark. There's no question.
I will open it up for questions.
Drew, as Tony just said, your role was pretty diminished by the postseason last year. Just how hard was that for you as a competitor, and what did the night mean to you?
Yeah, obviously, I wanted the ball in my hands, but I had some struggles at the end of last year. Didn't take care of my body the way I needed to. We emphasized that this year. Q helped me out with that a lot. And this year when I had the ball in my hand, had the chance to throw, I was going to go take it as I could, and gave my all for him.
Tony, you talked a lot in the fall and in the preseason about the number 2 ranking, not really being sure how good this team was going to end up being. How good do you know this team can be now, and when did you really start to feel that way?
Yeah, I think there was a surge of confidence in different parts of the year, and it came in segments. And to be honest with you, it came yesterday, even though we lost the first game or the continuation part. So it's come in segments, and to revisit that team meeting, I always try and be honest with you guys. You got a job to do just like we do, and I'm not trying to undersell the team. We were not the number 2 team in the country in February and March. But the comment was we very well could be that team, and obviously you'd like to be one better. And I hope these guys don't punch me, but I don't think we're that either yet. But the whole idea was understand this group could be, kind of carve our own way out by being a team that consistently makes progress and figures things out. And that's what they've done. And it's been a challenge. And about halfway through the year, they took ownership of the team, the players that is, and they've continued to push forward. And they got room to continue to do that.
Drew, second week in a row, it looks like you've been in total control out there of the game. What was working well for you tonight, and how difficult was it for you during the rain delays and the delays to, I guess, did that affect your preparation at all on the game day?
What worked well for me tonight, curveball was spinning good, had the changeup, had the command of the pitches early. We worked work counts differently, worked guys backwards. Coach A had a great pitching plan going into the game, so we knew how to attack all the hitters. Figured out the first 2 days, getting to watch that helps out a lot. So we just had a good game plan, and then the rain delays really didn't affect. I was just ready to get the ball in my hand, so just sat around, just waited for that call, and waited for the time that we were going to start, and I was excited when we got the chance to go.
Is this the first time you've ever thrown under the lights? For us?
First time this season, it was last year. First, actual real night game, because SEC tournament against Kentucky, I guess. But it was dust.
Sorry. Stepbrothers.
Fair enough.
How about we interview you? Sorry. Yeah.
Tony, Chase obviously showed a lot of emotion after getting out of that first inning. He was on the mound. Can you just talk about that moment and then also what he's meant to the team out of the bullpen?
Yeah, it was incredible. The moment before it was pretty special. It's you got to have a lot of conversations in the dugout. He's at 100 pitches. I don't want to speak for them. I'd like to think they don't want us to take him out of the game. That's one way to think of it. But he's also earned the right to take ownership of the game. So we sent him back out, 2 Sinai singles, and he gave me the stiff arm, but he doesn't throw 100 like Burnsy. So we took him out, and that Combs deal, man, was incredible. It was incredible. First of all, it gave us time to get Chase hot, because we wanted, Chase came to the park saying he could get us 3 to 6 outs. And he threw for us last night, so we wanted him to finish the game, basically come in maybe the middle of the 8th and finish the thing. But you could see things starting to develop. I couldn't find Burns. If he was here, you'd be able to ask him where he was. But I couldn't find him because I saw Dickerson coming up in the lineup. And I shook his hand out there. That I love our players, but that guy is a butt kicker. To keep it PG-13. He's a special guy. I hope they remember him forever around here, and they might get to watch him on TV in the big leagues. So with him coming up, I thought that was going to be a swing moment in the game, so why not go to the big dog right there? And that emotion he shows is reminiscent of what took place earlier on an SEC weekend for us, and it helped swing this whole season. It gave the guys a rallying point. It gave other teams something to fear at the end of the game. And he did it again, and it was pretty special. And it lifted our guys and gave our guys confidence that we had ownership of the game. Sorry, I sound like Tom Izzo. A lot fewer wins than that guy, but you sound like him.
Tony, with all the adversity you've discussed, where does this season rank amongst the most gratifying of your career?
That's tough. We're still going. So you really don't get a chance as an assistant. It was so much more fun. You can act wild or more wild and, play games in your head. And we got to be responsible for what the next step is. And there's still season to go. So I think it's not an unfinished tale, but there's a lot of stuff that's gone on. Started literally, again, losing's part of this deal. That's what we signed up for. You win some and you lose some, as they say. So, the end of last year was painful, but immediately, like a few hours after our season was over, a very challenging period in our program just started. A lot of different things. And to be sitting on the stage, advancing it's very memorable. Tough to put into words, I guess. Maybe Zane could say something because he's been sitting over there.
Yeah, Tony and Eddie, so if you guys want to weigh in on this too, what about just the weekend, the delays, not knowing late last night yet what the game time would be when I assume you're trying to figure out how you're going to deal with the day? How challenging was all that for all you guys?
Sorry. It was definitely pretty challenging, but I mean, it kind of goes with the theme of our whole team this year. Just we want that adversity. We want to, we feel like a lot of things have gone against us all year, but just battling through it together, getting better each day, and we'll find ourselves where we want to be at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. Just, we didn't know when we were going to play. Most of us were sitting up there watching that Stanford and Texas game, just knowing at the end of that we figured out when we were going to play. So, we really didn't have an answer until late, but we were just excited. Most of us were, itching to get it back out there. Wish we could have played again last night. It's not ideal, but, everyone was just ready to get out here and play another game. That's just how the vibes were with some of the guys, so that's how we felt.
It's good we've had some conversations again. I said it to the team, but I appreciate greatly everybody that was a part of that team last year, guys like Trey Lipscomb, and I could go on and on. They helped have one of the most memorable college seasons ever, most talked about, and then they also helped these guys learn some lessons. And when you advance to Hoover and beyond, you're still playing baseball, but there's other games you have to play. And that's one of them, is managing time and itineraries and things like that. And I think these guys, having learned those lessons, helped us get through. You're already playing a hell of a team, but then there's other stuff that goes on, and there's some friendly things being said at the stands at all of us. There's a lot to take on, but that's part of the deal. And you have to win a bunch of battles, not just the ones that are on the field.
Coach, at the end, you mentioned it at the beginning, but at the end, when your team's celebrating and Scott Berry just starts walking towards the outfield, your team turned around and applauded him. That was a pretty special moment. Can you talk about that for just a second?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you have to celebrate, and then you catch yourself, and then you want to celebrate more, and then you catch yourself. And, we talked about a phrase last night about really good competition. Again, part of me wants to see Dickerson play more baseball. But my loyalty's with these guys, and of course I'm excited. So it's kind of a tough deal. But again, you sign up for tough stuff with this whole deal. So when the pain subsides with a little bit of time and they reflect on the season they had, again, to me, that guy this year and other years is one that everybody needs to look to. And the coaching part's real good, but the person part's way better. And so any other team would have done it. And the fans and the players, of course, appreciate him too. His family came over and congratulated all of us as coaches. I mean, that shows you. That's what we try and do, is recruit guys that come from really good families. And, he's got his family that's blood relatives, but he's got a big-ass family, if I can say that. There was a lot worse said tonight, probably by our players too. It was back and forth, and it's, again, part of the deal. But he's got a big-ass family, and, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I hope it's because he felt like it was, the best time for him and not because things are starting to get a little crazy. But not my place to speak for him, just my spot to applaud him and try and imitate him. You got no chance, but try and imitate him. He's a lot more of a man's man than I am, I think.
All right, final two questions right here.
Yeah, for Zane, Andrew, how have you guys seen Tony adapt and adjust to coaching you guys this year? And I guess he's kind of been guardrails through those kind of adverse moments throughout the season.
You can lead us off, Zane.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's one of the reasons I came here. I wanted to play for him just for playing against him last year and talking to a bunch of the guys about him, just how he's he teaches us life lessons along with baseball, but he also gives us a lot of freedom to take ownership of our team and do what we want to.
Yeah, I'll continue off of that. I mean, he's more than a coach for us. He's a friend to us. He's a adult figure to us. He's always there for us, always having fun with us. You can talk to him about anything. It's just he creates a good atmosphere to be in, and that's what guys love to come to Tennessee and play in. And so just having him around the field, having him cutting up with us, it makes it fun to play. And there's a reason we all play baseball is because we had fun playing it when we were little, and we just love to play it. And so playing for a coach who loves it just as much as you do just makes it that much more enjoyable.
Zane, two-part question for you. First, if you could walk us through your bat in the fifth inning where you hit the home run, and then I think now you have 5 hits in the NCAA tournament, 4 home runs. Can you ever kind of remember a stretch like that in your career?
So that bat, I was just trying to get a good pitch to hit, just like any at bat, and worked a 2-0 count, and had a pretty good feeling I was going to get a heater. So just tried to cheat to it a little bit. Luckily, I got it, got in the air, and went far enough. But no, I can't really remember a stretch like that. I'd like to mix in a couple of hits too, but it's working right now. So
we'll take it.
Yeah, take it.
Coach Vitello, Zane, Drew, what a great weekend. What a great tournament. Congratulations to you guys. Best of luck in Omaha, and thank you guys for your time. This concludes our press conference here in Hattiesburg.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.